Selassie Jah Rastafari. This is a very important video talking about the lies about African history. The lies fed to you all the days of your life, even while in school. A lot of people think that Africa is poor and uncivilized. A lot of people think that the people there are savages. But I tell you, that's not true. They're only telling you the bad part. And they make America look good. While meanwhile, if you would actually do your research, you can see that even America is worse than most of Africa. In Africa, they have even better technology than America. It's just that they like to keep their tradition and they don't forget God. They don't forget Jah like a lot of other people do in America. In Africa, you can search it up, look up videos showing that Africa is not uncivilized. All of those videos or commercials that you see on TV is only showing the bad part of Africa, which is about 5%. It's talking about the parts that are isolated from the rest of the world. We're talking about the whole Africa, not isolated. The ones before that you see on commercials on TV are ones that have been isolated for centuries with they don't even know the outside world. But in the real Africa, everyone is civilized. There's TVs, there's cars, there's places, all kinds of stuff. There's houses. It's not like people live in the mud and sleep under trees. That's not true. In Africa, they have even better food than in America. There's a lot of lies about Africa. Another lie is that Africa wasn't the first civilization. That's not true. Do your research. Africa is the first civilization in existence. Because, also, if you do your research, you'd find out that Africa is the first place where humans existed. It's where Adam and Eve were created. All of the humans from the other places, from the other countries, came from Africa on boats and on ships. Everything else because you can just search it up on Google. It says that Africa is the first place that has humans. Even though Google talks about how God doesn't exist, which God does exist, you can see that it says that humans came from Africa. And there are a lot of people that don't believe that. And you really need to do your research. Another common lie is that slaveholders weren't afraid of Africans. Another lie is that some Africans didn't enslave their own people. They did. That's the only reason that slavery of blacks and Africans even happened. Because some of the Africans turned against their own people and helped the white man to enslave the people. And a lot of the people fought back. You can see that, especially if you do your research, like the Underground Railway. You know that too. Most people do. And if you don't, then you should do your research. I mean, they even teach about the Underground Railway in school. But there are a lot of other things, of other instances of slaves resisting that exist. And there are a lot of other lies too. A lot of lies that people are fed to. That people are fed. For example, Africans don't live in mud houses. They aren't that poor. I already said this, but just so you know, that I can get it into your head. That Africans aren't poor. All of those videos, all of those pictures that you see on TV that Africans are poor are fake. They either are paid actors or they only show that 5% of that little 5% of Africa. In fact, if you were to show a video of Ghana to most people, they would think that it's somewhere in America or Hong Kong or somewhere that is known for technology. Until you break the truth to them that it's from Africa. Yeah. And that's not the only thing that we're going to be talking about. Now, we're going to be talking about the people who say that Jah is fake. Jah isn't fake. I know a lot of people don't use the word Jah for God, which is what we use in our Rastafari religion, or it's not even a religion. We just believe in God. We have our own ways to do things. We make our own music called reggae, all kinds of stuff. So now, I'm just going to use the word God so that you guys can understand. A lot of people in America and in other places don't believe in God anymore. They say God is fake with no proof at all. I can prove to you that God is real. I can prove it to you right now. So for those who say that God isn't real, please explain to me how the universe was created. How our earth was created. All of you talk about science and how earth was created from meteors and water, and the water on earth came from meteors that fell into the earth. That's not true. God alone himself created it in 7 days. Explain to me, how is the universe going to come and exist all of a sudden at once? I understand a lot of things that you guys are talking about who say God doesn't exist. But then again, a lot of it doesn't add up. Something cannot come from nothing. For example, let's talk about the rain. God created it. Well, naturally, rain comes from clouds that forms of evaporated rainwater or evaporated water. And then the clouds get too heavy and fall, but that rain has to come from somewhere. All that water has to come from somewhere. And then you see that billions of years ago that the water came from meteors that hit into Earth before there was life. Please explain to me then where did those meteors come from? And how did water suddenly exist? How did life suddenly exist on Earth? And then all of you are talking about how there's other different hundreds of thousands of other planets in space. And while that is true, it does not mean that God didn't create them. Let's imagine this, for example. Like God created the earth, the sun, and the moon. That doesn't mean he didn't also create the other planets. Because the Bible was written by man. It wasn't written by God. So the Bible is not going to say every single thing that God did. You hear me? And also, you guys are talking about the Big Bang, which that's where the universe came from. So let's imagine that it's actually where the universe came from instead of God creating it. How did the Big Bang happen? And why would it suddenly happen? It has to have a reason or a cause for it to happen. Something is not just going to come from nothing. And then that again happens. Where does God come from? We don't know. It comes from something, but it doesn't come from nothing. For example, when a baby is born, it doesn't come from nothing. It comes from their mother. When something like food, like pizza, or rice is created, it doesn't come from nothing. It comes from plants. You understand? So it wouldn't make sense either way for the universe to come from nothing or the Big Bang to come from nothing. And it's not just that alone. There have been multiple true sightings of people who have witnessed God. People who have heard God talk to them. But all of you guys just say that it's fake because you don't want to admit the truth. And it's not just that alone. Anyways, I hope you now understand that God exists and isn't just some fake being. God isn't made up. He's a real existing being that's been watching over us since he created humans. Well, that's the end, and I hope you all understand that God exists. Selassie Jah Rastafari. Have a blessed love, have a blessed night, or day, or evening, or wherever you are. Bless.